Welcome to the South Metro Scoop, and today I'm here with Ken Vander Hayden of Minnesota Closets. He started out recruiting software engineers in Silicon Valley to building custom closets here in the South Metro, and it kind of started with 9 months of unemployment and like a DIY project that he never attempted before. But yeah, welcome on, Ken.
Thanks. Appreciate that, Brady.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into that recruiting for software engineers and why you came to Minnesota?
Yeah, actually, how I got into recruiting for starters.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a long story. I've jumped careers a few times. I was in the mortgage business previously, and when that tanked in 2008 with the housing crisis and mortgage collapse, I was looking for work and found my way into recruiting. I actually started recruiting for Bay Area tech companies while living in Hawaii. That's a whole other story. But I grew up in Minnesota, so I moved back to Minnesota shortly after that, and then spent about 15 years in the recruiting business from Minnesota, working remotely and working for tech companies in Silicon Valley, San Francisco Bay Area.
gotcha. Yeah. And then I just was seeing in 2022, what kind of happened in 2022? Because
Yeah,
it's kind of a notable time when you kind of switch gears.
yeah. So there was obviously COVID a couple years before that.
Hmm.
There was a lot of pausing on hiring, and then shortly after that, there was a hiring boom. There's a lot of companies that were holding on to hiring budgets and not sure, what the future held. So 2021 was probably my biggest year in recruiting. Just super busy. Um, but then in 2022, that all slowed down because so many companies overhired, and then
Yeah.
they saw the eventual economy downturn, and there was a lot of layoffs. So I worked for myself in tech recruiting as well. And right around the end, October of 2022, I closed up shop and decided to wait out the downturn, thinking it might be 2, 3 months.
And what kind of point where you're like, oh, I'm not going to go back into recruiting? Like, did you complete your first like closet yet, or like what kind of point was that at?
Yeah, so again, I figured I'd wait, 3, 4 months, and just take some time off because I had recruited pretty consistently for the 14, 15 years. Um, 3, 4 months went by, and I decided to start looking around. Nothing had really changed. 4 or 5 months went by, 6 months. I started getting nervous, that this is going to be a long-term thing. And as an agency headhunter, the middleman, so to speak, there's a lot less need for that with companies that were starting to hire again versus the internal recruitment. And so it took a while. I always figured I would go back to it, and I just needed a project to occupy my time, take my mind off of things, and I needed to organize and declutter my life. So I figured I'd start with my closet. I tore everything out of my closet. I think I got rid of like 3 yard bags full of clothes to the Goodwill, and then decided to teach myself how to remodel it.
Yeah. How did you? I don't know. I mean, most people don't really have traditional schooling for it. I mean, most people just look it up on YouTube and follow some YouTube tutorials. Did you do that?
Yeah, so I had never really built anything before in my life. I mean, I built a few speaker boxes when I was in high school, but otherwise, that was carpentry or building was not my strong suit. So I thought, at least at the time. So I watched some YouTube videos. I read a blog on building drawer boxes, um, and borrowed a miter saw from a friend of mine. And I didn't even know what a miter saw was at that time. Built my first custom closet.
Yeah. And you shared it on social media, right?
Yes, I did. It's still
What
up.
was what was the what was the response to that?
Yeah. So it was. I wasn't gonna share it at first because it was the first thing I ever built, and of course, I'm
Yeah.
over analyzing it, and I didn't think it was anything special, but it got an amazing amount of positive feedback and just a lot of praise, a lot of compliments. So it made me look at it a little bit different than, analyzing my own work and whatnot. And it was a few friends who knew the situation I was in and trying to figure out what I was going to do next, who really pressed that I should start this as a business. And that's what got my mind down that lane.
Yeah, I get you with the whole posting stuff because some of my posts that I've posted, not thinking anything about. I'm like, oh, this is pretty bad. I don't know why. Even I recorded, I might as well edit it and post it, but it's turned out to be the best performing videos that I've ever posted from those. So I get you on that. And then kind of you launched Closets by Ken originally. That's what it was before Minnesota Closets. And then what were those kind of first paid projects like? I'd assume you charged your friends that needed them, but.
Yeah. So my first paid project, I just kind of put out there that I was going to be starting this custom closet business. And my first paid project, I actually reached out to my friend. She had posted some closet inspiration pictures on her story. And so I reached out and said, hey, I'm starting this custom closet business. She already got a couple bids. So, I said, well, keep me in mind, if those fall through or whatever. She had gotten a couple measures and was waiting on some bids. Well, she got those bids and then reached back out and was wondering if I would come out and provide a quote as well, because they were pretty high up there. So she gave me an opportunity with a lot of trust involved in that, obviously. And that first project, I bought a table saw and a miter saw. I didn't even realize a table saw didn't come with a table. So when I unboxed it in her garage, I built her entire closet in her garage on my knees on a cement floor over the course of 3 weeks, hiring every piece hauling every piece of material up 3 flights of stairs upstairs and then walking back down and recutting something when it was wrong. So it was my first closet, my first paid closet was a very interesting time, but it was very rewarding as well, and exceeded expectations, and especially my own for what I was able to accomplish with it.
Yeah, and those are all kind of custom built at the start. What kind of process would you take someone through at that time to get started? Would you take them through like a whole design? This is kind of the colors I recommend. What kind of colors do you like? That type of thing?
Yeah, so the very first closet, I poorly sketched out on paper, which just gives more credit to my friend for trusting my vision and trying to explain what this is going to look like with just some scribbles on notebook paper. Down the line, I got a software program that I can design in 3D or show 3D renderings of my design, so it's much easier to visualize what the end product is going to look like. But yeah, the early days was just some sketches on paper. I think my first 3 or 4 closets started as just sketches on paper, and it was just white at the time. It's the most common color for a closet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And why did you eventually shift away from Closets by Ken? Did you want to, expand it to more people working for you instead of you doing all the operations of it too?
Yeah, so there's a number of reasons I wanted to get away from Closets by Ken. One is just realizing that I wanted to build this into something big, and I wanted to get away from the idea that this is revolving around me, my name, my 2 hands, and building everything by hand myself. I wanted to scale the company. I wanted to provide opportunities to other folks with employment opportunities to help me grow this, and provide a much larger opportunity for residents of Minnesota to get a custom closet that we make much more affordable.
Mm-hmm. And when we first started talking, it was probably, 3-4 months ago now when we first started talking, but you're getting a new website and it's live now. It looks great. The links will all be in the show notes too. Make sure you guys go and check it out. Check out his projects too. They look pretty nice. And one of the main messaging points on the site is closet design with peace of mind. Could you explain what that kind of means?
Yes, absolutely. So I've been in sales my whole life. I've worked on commission my whole life. I love sales, but there was something different about selling this product when I started this company. Um, you know, good closet design brings calm and serenity to your life. It's where you start your day. And so my thought was is if someone's trying to bring calm and organization and stress-free to their life, they're not going to want to start that process with a sales process, with high pressure closing, um, and with trying to navigate pricing and whether they need to negotiate. So I decided to design my entire company around this motto, closet design with peace of mind. We give our best price up front. As we grow, we will not have commissioned sales reps. That really stops from having to have designers who are also trying to fill a quota for the month. The most important thing that we want to do is help our customers design their perfect closet and optimize it completely to the space they have. That's our first and foremost vested interest. It's not how many closets can we sell this month or how much commission can I make on this closet. So therefore, there's no worry about, am I getting the best deal? We're going to give you our best price up front. Plain and simple. We're the no haggle car dealerships of the closet industry is how I say.
And yeah, how does your pricing compare to the national brands? Because I know they have probably a lot more overhead than you do, but what is like the kind of price difference that they can expect compared to a big national?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a number of factors there, and this is kind of one of the things that has been an evolutionary process for me as well. The big national brands, yeah, they have a lot more overhead, but their product cost is a lot less, right?
Yeah.
I have a lot less overhead, but my product cost is higher, being it's a quantity type of thing. That being said, from what I've seen, our standard pricing is about 5 to 10% less than our big name competitors' best price. But that's our standard price. So we always have a standard price to where we can show a discount off of that because as things change, right? We need to have a baseline pricing.
Yeah.
So we give a substantial discount off our baseline pricing. There's a lot of factors involved, but all told, we're going to be typically 25 to 35% less than our competitor's best price.
For sure. And yeah, it's kind of hard with, you don't really know the exact price of everything until you actually go and buy the materials. So it's kind of hard to base it off that too. But that makes a whole lot of sense. And walk us through what happens when someone reaches out to you for a consultation. They're thinking, oh, I know I need something, but I'm not exactly sure what I want.
Yeah. Yeah. So we start by a free in-home consultation. I come out, I measure their closet. And then if it's one closet, I typically design on site. Part of our closet design with peace of mind is that all of my pricing is built into my design software. So there's no guesswork. So I can sit with the folks next, side by side and design the closet. And if we remove a drawer, the price adjusts. We add some shelves, the price adjusts. So it's very transparent. Everything's built in, and we can design on site. For larger multi-closet projects, I'll design off-site in my office, and schedule a follow-up visit where we'll do a design review, and then we can make revisions at that point. Design reviews are super important because there's so many ways you can design a single closet, right? It's going to boil down to what works best for our customers' lifestyle and their needs.
Yeah, that on-site thing is definitely cool. I haven't heard many contractors or, any kind of remodeling contractor talk about something like that, so that's definitely sweet.
Thanks.
And what was kind of your shift? I mean, I know it's not the same industry, from tech in San Francisco to Minnesota Home Services, but is there anything you could talk about what that was kind of like?
Yeah, it's a whole different world. There's a lot of learning, it's hard to to think of anything specific, just because there's so many things that were completely different. The tech recruiting in the Bay Area was all remote, so I'm sitting at my desk all day long and talking to people on the phone. I think the biggest difference is being able to interact with people face to face. I like to be moving around, so this right now allows me the opportunity to be in my office a couple days a week, and then being in the field a few days a week, going out and doing measures, meeting with people face to face, and getting to interact and engage with people. So that's a big difference, and something that I absolutely love. Sometimes in the recruiting business, it just sitting at a desk all day, every day gets old and tiring.
Yeah, definitely tough when you don't have any face-to-face interaction with like your coworkers or clients or anything. And you do more than just closets, right?
Yes, we do closets, pantries, mudrooms, craft entertainment areas, and garages. Pretty much any. I always say we do any storage related service aside from kitchen and bath. That's
Gotcha.
a whole different animal.
Yeah, I bet. And where do you kind of expect Minnesota Closets to be within 3 years, maybe?
Yeah, I want Minnesota Closets to be the number one trusted source, the premier source for custom closets in Minnesota. I want to be known for the calm, relaxed experience that we're going to provide to our customers, the design expertise, the intention to make sure the final outcome is exactly what they want and need, as well as in their budget. Closets are expensive, and it's something that you don't get a new one every couple of years. So we want to make sure it's the best for you and not the quickest for us or the most money for us.
Hmm.
I feel like if we do it right by our customers and really keep our values where our vested interest is in the best closets we can for our customers, that the company's going to grow us out in that way.
And for the career pivoters or someone, since it's kind of been a rough year for job hiring, what kind of advice, if any, do you have to give to someone who's maybe looking to shift into something new?
Yeah, there's no better time than now. I've actually had this conversation with several people, not necessarily those looking for advice, but those asking, how I did it and where I found the confidence and the ability to take this leap. And one of the things I say is that if I were able to bullet point list everything I've learned from when I started to today, and if I had that bullet point list when I started, I probably never would have started this company, because having that list seems like too big of a mountain to climb, too many things to learn, right? So what I would tell people is if they want to do something, if they want to try something, put one foot in front of the other, make that mistake. You're going to learn as you go. But if you sit down and try and research everything that you need to know to start whatever business you want to start, you're going to overwhelm yourself and talk yourself out of it, because part of the process is learning as you go and making those mistakes so you can make those adjustments.
Yeah, that's great advice. Unless you got some money behind you, you could pay someone to tell you all the problems so you can avoid them the first time.
Venture capital.
Exactly.
It'd be nice to have. I actually, I love that I did bootstrap this from nothing. From 9 months of unemployment and worrying about my savings running out. Figuring out as I went.
And what kind of surprised you most about entrepreneurship and running a physical product business instead of, recruiting before?
Yeah, I've worked for myself since 2010. So I wasn't new, to entrepreneurship, but certainly a physical product is a whole different world than a service-based recruiting industry that I was in. the care and for your customers and your clients is the same. But in a product industry, you can't make mistakes. In terms of the financial or monetary impact. When I'm building a closet, I had to be meticulous in the building in the beginning because I could not afford to make mistakes. Right? You make a wrong that eats into my profit margin and my ability to pay my bills, essentially.
Yeah.
So obviously you don't want to make mistakes in any industry, but when it comes to physical product, there's really not a lot of margin for error when it comes to that.
For someone who's been kind of living with builder grade, the typical Lennar or whatever house and the kind of shelving, and maybe someday they needed to change it, what would you tell them? Would you be like, just jump on it now, or maybe take your time, plan out a little bit, and then search for that right person?
Yeah, I would say start out with, a budget. If you don't have a budget for it right now, plan for it if it's something that you want. Put some testers out. If you don't know how much a custom closet costs, you might not realize you can afford one, or you can afford, different levels of custom closets, right? I mean, there's levels from a basic custom closet that's going to give you all the functionality and optimize your space to the fullest, to the luxurious, slanted shoe shelves with a fence and glass doors, over your shelves and things of that nature, and drawers. A lot of stuff that is just added extra into a custom closet, but it is amazing what you can do to a closet very affordably that will maximize every square inch of that closet and give you so much more storage than your builder grade wire rack. And what I say is, get a quote now and be just be upfront. Say, hey, this is something I'm hoping to do in the next 3 to 5, 6 months. If someone doesn't want to work with you, then they won't. But we're happy to start the process because things can take time. You might wake up in the middle of the night and think, oh, you know what, I would really like to have in the closet. I didn't think of this before. And so it's those kind of things and that we don't, the reason that we don't push customers to make fast decisions, because you might, realize something that you need in your closet. And if you make a decision in one day, sometimes it could be too late.
Mm-hmm. And how can listeners get in touch for an in-home consultation?
Yeah, they can reach me over my website is the easiest. The contact form on my website is mnclosets.com. Or they can give me a call directly at 612-605-1177 or email design@mnclosets.com.
Perfect. And we'll include all of the social links down below and any relevant links as well. But thanks, Ken, for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.